Alright guys, so last time the very first tutorial for installing stuff was LCPDFR 1.1, ELS 8.0, and Cry 3 EMB. So, what's the point to ELS if we don't have any vehicles in, and, what's the point if we can't kind of change anything more depth-wise? So today we're going to be doing a short tutorial on installing ELS-related cars, and we're also going to be doing a short tutorial on how to install peds. So you can see I got my main directory over here for what I'm interested in modding, and I've also got Open IV open. Now, I'll show you what I recommend doing is setting Open IV to actually being able to directly open stuff. And it just works out easier that way. You can always right click and then you'll kind of get the open with options and then go and select Open IV. So I'm going to exit out of that because I don't like to use it that way. I like to use it more of a direct way. So for vehicles, we'll go ahead and we'll open this up, and we're going to go ahead and open this up, and I'll explain what we got going on in here. This guy was good. They got their credits, which I'll go ahead and open up real briefly because I don't know where, when, who, or how I got this vehicle, but here you go. You can see all the credits. I'll let you pause your screen if you want to see them and you're that interested. Otherwise, we're just moving on. So they've even included some pictures with it, and it shows that they care about their vehicles and stuff like that. So what do we have in here? Well, let's see which one we want in terms of vehicles. I think we'll go with the push bar non-slick top, and that means we'll go in here and you can see the police files right here. These are the two files that you need to replace using OpenIV, and I'll just drag them on the desktop for simplicity. And that means after that we're going into the ELS settings. So in here, this is all the settings that ELS, and this is why I haven't upgraded to 0.5. You'll still find a lot of vehicles in 7 and 8, and it just gives you more variety without having to go in there and modify anything. So we'll close that. We don't really need to look at it. I just kind of wanted to show you, and we'll drag that out as well just so we can appropriately put it into place later. So to install one vehicle, this is generally what you need if you're going to need ELS setups. So we got the vehicles open, and instantly we'll go down to police, and I already have a different vehicle in there, and I like to type it in. It just kind of narrows it down and makes it a lot quicker. But you'll see, here's what I currently have in, and I'm going to be replacing, I'm going to mix it up so I have regular police units and sheriff units in my game. So we're going to be getting rid of this vehicle. Don't worry, I'm going to change the headlights from this, or the code lights on this one, to another car, because I know a couple of you guys actually really like the old school kind of looking lights. They emit pretty well too. So we'll make sure we're in edit mode, and from there that means that you can add files. So once we do that, we're just going to click that and pop back out to the desktop of where we have all of our stuff that I didn't want you to see hiding, and we went ahead and added it. So the best thing to do right now is to just check it again. Open up the file and check it again. So don't worry about some of the hood clipping here. That just kind of means that it'll use some default texturing most of the time. Sometimes this is a sign of a bad vehicle, but we'll roll with it. I don't think they put a lot of time and effort and energy into this, so I don't think it'll be a bad vehicle. If you get into the game though and the vehicle's just not working right, or it crashes your game when you try to spawn it in, don't mess with it. Just find another pack, move on to another vehicle, or just keep going in general. Now it's very, very, very important to notice, and for me, this is a red flag, and I picked this pack kind of on purpose. So you'll see this vehicle, very good looking vehicle. You can see the interior, very well rendered, and everything's going great. Look at the size difference, and I point that out because this one is literally almost 4 times of what this guy is, and you can look in here, and this one already makes me suspicious of issues. While it is highly detailed, you can see the the computer and so forth are rendered pretty well. There's a lot of stuff missing in terms of that, and the size appears to be greater than reasonable for what we got going on visually there. We're gonna keep it. What this will do is, I could have 4 of these basically almost sitting around for the cost of 1 of these, and keep that in your mind, because Grand Theft Auto 4 limits the amount of memory that you can use. Even if you use the EXE editor to allow it more resources and things like that, that is a engine restriction, not not a exe setting that you can change out. And I found out through experimentation that it's like that. So we put that vehicle in. We're going to continue on, even though I don't think it's going to be the greatest vehicle. We're going to continue on. And now what we have to do is we got to set up our ELS for it. So here's the INI, and you can see it goes in here with all the other INIs under the ELS folder, but you have to go into slot control. So what I like to do is just go to actually rename it, copy and paste it. Sure, it's just police, but you can see how some of these have got odd names. So you'll open up slot control, and we put it in the police slot 1. So we're going to change out that old police vehicle with that one, and we make sure we save it, and then boom, now we're good to go. Well, now we're good to go into the game and check the vehicle. I like to go into the game, use the trainer, and spawn about 3 or 4 of them, you know, after a couple of seconds of loading up. Make sure everything else loaded in first, or you might crash, even if it was a good car. But I like to spawn a couple in, see if I can get it to crash from just a few spawning in. I like to get into them and slam into stuff, see if I could get a 60 crash. Sometimes deformations aren't done well. And, you know, if it passes those little trial and errors, then it's a good car. Just you spend 5 minutes investigating what you just put in, and it pays off way down the road. So now that we got that out of the way, we can go ahead and actually delete these, and I'm not interested in anything else from that pack, so we'll delete that pack as well. I have a backup, so no worries, guys. And we'll go ahead and open up the peds, and I'll explain what we got going on in here. So I'll drag and drop these, and it's the same thing as the car, basically in terms of installation, but you have to just be leery of category. So if you pay close attention, you've got my cop, and then you've got my cop. But if you look down here, you've got my cop one more time. Sorry, yeah, so there's 3 files for that. Ignore what I'm saying up until this point. But my cop _ P, and you'll see my cop _ P. This just stands for the props that they come with, the hats and things like that and so forth. And it's important to remember that you've got your ped props here and your ped components here. So open up the ped components. And once we get that open, these are the 3 files we'll be interested for ped components. Ped components are the actual pedestrians themselves. And, you know, you can see it takes a little bit for it to sift this one down just because it's such a large file. But you can see here is basically, you know, it's my cops. It's you got your uniforms, their tops, their bottoms, and the different varieties that you can have. Now this one I was having huge amounts of issues with the darkness of it, and you know only a couple of the heads were looking right for whatever reason. Just it wasn't coming out like this guy looked completely black. So we'll actually swap it out, and you know we're already in edit mode, so we only add the first 3 that we need. One's without the _ P. You know what I mean? So we'll go from there. We got the cops, and we'll put them in, and we can kind of preview them again. Same deal. You know, we got different little sheriff stuff. Now don't worry about this. This will actually render correctly. If it doesn't, then you know just move to something different. And you can see you can always kind of check it out and sample it. Same thing with the belt. If it just doesn't render right, it's not a big issue. You've got plenty of other options. You know, the internet's a wide and wonderful place. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of those since we did that for install. And we'll finish up with the props. And I like to delete the files as I go just to avoid confusion. And I can say go slow. There's no reason to kind of hustle through. So now you can see we got the same list of stuff. I'm not going to narrow this one down any. And all we need is the 2 props. Ignore this one right here. That's just from something else completely different. And, you know, I know that went in fine. I'm not going to narrow down the search for that or make you guys watch that. And you know, in short, that's the essence of installing vehicles in ELS and different police officer models. And for the police officer models, it's the same thing. If you find something that's fishy, if the file size is way larger than the original but barely adds any extra content, or if something's just not textured right, or you know, off in color, internet's a huge place, bro. Just go check out another mod. Best thing you do is Google's your friend. If you ask me, you might be sitting around for a while before I get back to you. But if you just Google LCPDFR, Sheriff Pack, you know, Sheriff Vehicle Pack, Sheriff Pedestrian Pack, Sheriff Ped Pack, you know, you might find exactly what you're looking for in a couple of seconds. And you know, I hope this gets some of you guys kind of more squared away in terms of just getting your game up and running and making it more customized for your liking. The next video will be covering lighting, the EMB series adjustments, both in-game and out-of-game. A lot of you probably don't even know you can change it in-game. And we'll go from there. Appreciate all the support, guys. I love you. See you at the next one.